Joining me now to shed some light on the legal issues here behind what Mr. Cain is alleged to have done is the attorney and partner at Washington, D.C. law firm Katz, Marshall & Banks, Debra Katz. Thank you for your time, Ms. Katz.
Thanks for having me.
What Ms. Bialik described, and we only obviously, again, have her word on it, is that still sexual harassment, or does that move into sexual assault or abuse?
Well, it's both. This is clearly in the context of someone coming to him and seeking his assistance with a job, and him essentially trying to inflict himself on her sexually, coerce her to perform a sex act to get a job. That's sexual harassment. It's also a sexual assault. Here we have a sexual battery. He has touched her in an offensive manner, and I think it has criminal implications as well.
Does it, at this point, have criminal implications or even civil implications? Is this not, whichever definition applies, or even if they both apply, is it long past statute of limitations?
Well, look, it is long past the statute of limitations. The court where it will apply most now is the court of public opinion. And hopefully, with the victim coming forward and having a face to this, I think that this will shift. Hopefully, it will shift public view of this issue.
Ms. Allred and a couple of others said that this might not be sexual harassment per se because Ms. Bialik did not work for Mr. Cain. Does that in fact matter? Is that any relevancy to this at all?
You know, I disagree with that legal analysis. The law clearly covers job applicants. If an employer conditions getting a job on perform a sex act for you to get a job, that's illegal. That's sexual harassment. And I think that's what happened here.
Is there any indication how often this happens? I mean, people obviously who are looking to defend Mr. Cain will say, well, this happened sometime in the 90s. Why didn't she do something about it? Is there any indication about, even today or even in that time, the percentage of events that are believed never to be reported in any way?
Yeah, I mean, the percentage is extremely high because people who come forward get pilloried, and you see this happening already with her today. It's a very brave act to come forward and give voice to the other women who have been too scared to come forward. The incidents of sexual harassment that get reported are really small compared to what happens every day in the workplace. It's a shocking number of incidents, and the fact that women get tarnished and their motivations get impugned, just as Mr. Cain did as soon as the first woman came forward and said, witch hunt, made up, and impugned their integrity, it makes it very hard for people to come forward. It's a brave act that this woman did so today.
As to the other women, the other accusers who have the confidentiality agreements with the National Restaurant Association, why is it that Mr. Cain can comment on those cases but the accusers cannot?
Well, I don't believe the accusers cannot. I think that he is ducking behind a confidentiality agreement. There is no confidentiality left. He's discussed from his perspective the allegations. He said nothing happened. If it happened, I said this. He said this is how much money they were given. That turned out to be false. I can see no confidentiality that is to be protected at this point. And were I to advise the women involved, I would tell them they have breached it on their end and you are free to talk. And I would encourage them to do so.
Debra Katz of Katz, Marshall & Banks, great thanks for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.